Alright everyone, now's the time. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for f***ing dinner. Okay, what's up everybody? This is Craig and Chad coming at you again with another episode of C2 Sports, and we got a little something special for you today. Chad sent me a video to watch, and it's kind of, well, you explain it. I haven't watched it yet, just so you know. I'm going to watch it live here on my phone. I'm going to cue it up here and just kind of introduce it, what I'm about to witness.
It is the epitome of why we're doing what we're doing. It is one of the most embarrassing, I don't want to even say back and forths, because the guy in question doesn't even really let the other guy talk. And it is like the epitome of why sports commentary is out of control nowadays. So I don't even want to ruin it with any kind of setup except for what it is.
Oh boy.
I just want Craig to read it or watch it because I had a really tough time watching it. And I immediately sent it to him and said, this is why we do what we're doing now, bud.
Okay. Without further ado, this is what he sent me. It's Stephen A., our good old buddy with the hot takes. Stephen A. apparently talking about Cutler, and if he says what's in this friggin' title, I'm probably gonna lose my shit.
I forgot that it's in the title.
All right, we'll play.
And juxtaposed to Colin Kaepernick is Jay Cutler right now, not the epitome of white privilege in the United States of America. What did he do to deserve this job? What did he do?
Listen now.
Is he better? Is he better? What did he do?
So if you scroll that up one, it gives you the whole thing, which is so much better. That first video is the perfect example of clickbait. The second video is the full thing.
Okay, you want me to do the full segment?
Yeah, because that's gonna really show you what it's all about, like why this even exists.
Have a lot of potential, but with Jay Cutler at the helm, is this
So they get Max out there, who I used to love Max.
I don't know who the other guy is. He's new to me.
Yeah, he's actually he's on what stinks. I forgot his name now. It escapes me. But he's a huge Cowboys fan.
Oh, really?
He's from Dallas. He's actually has a law degree. The reason I know is because the only person that I enjoy on ESPN is Ryan Russillo, and he fills in on Russillo's show all the time, and he actually makes fun of himself for having to have these hot takes all the time, because it's the only way he'll get on what the hell is this show called? First Take.
First Take.
Yeah, it's the only way he'll get on it. And people bomb on him all the time, but it's not really how he is. It's not. He just has he has to play that guy. He has to play that character.
It makes so much more sense that you said that now after watching that, because
yeah, he's actually not
he's in the
bad.
line.
Yeah, he's not bad when he's on Russillo. I really like him on Russillo because I mean Russillo's the only one that I actually can stomach.
Yeah.
One of the mics, I can't stomach Greenberg, but Golick I like every now and then, but they're breaking up anyway, so who cares? All right.
Cutler an entirely too rough a road in coming out of retirement to play for the Dolphins. No one's going to sit here, most certainly me, and argue
Will
that
Kane.
Cutler's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But he sure isn't one of the worst, as Stephen A. would point out. Max, this will be an
always
easy
says
debate.
he's the worst based on his heart and his leadership, not based on his talent.
It'll be an easy debate to win when these two run to hyperbole. The Dolphins were a 10-6 record last year. I believe they'll be in a playoff hunt with the Tennessee Titans, Cincinnati Bengals, and I think the Chargers are going to be a lot better this year. I'm talking about the last playoff spot in the AFC.
Chargers.
10-16 with weapons, Jarvis Landry, Kenny Stills, Jay Ajayi, a good defense. And now Jay Cutler stepping in, Stephen A., to an offense that he already knows. You pointed out, we all know that. And the fact of the matter is, your argument all morning has been he doesn't care. He's not invested. Jay Cutler couldn't give a rip if he throws a touchdown or an interception. Quite honestly, is simply looking at his facial expressions and running an opinion off of that. When we've had guys like Dominique Foxworth or
got Kristen Cavallari to go home to.
You make me sick sometimes. You make me sick sometimes. Please, just be quiet and listen, because let me tell you something. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Number one, it ain't just about Jay Cutler's facial expressions. I got an 11-year track record with this brother. 11 years, one playoff appearance, 1-1 in a playoff, pedaling on a bicycle in an NFC Championship game instead of backpedaling in the pocket. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about coaches and
That's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole. just gave you facts. That's number one. Number two, I've spoken to several of his teammates who played for him. Have you? Have you talked to them? Have you listened to what they said about his lack of leadership? Number three, visit the teammates.
Brandon Marshall sticks up for Jay Cutler every single second he gets. Wants Jay Cutler everywhere he goes, still to this day.
Even is very keen on saying how much he wants to slap him around sometimes, but if you played sports at all in your life, not even at the pro level, there's always dudes on your team that you want to slap from time to time.
Oh, especially quarterbacks.
And there's always dudes on your team that have that attitude, that it's not the common attitude. There's always guys on your team like that. And he probably gets made fun of for it all the time. And he probably doesn't give a shit.
No.
Obviously.
Denver, visit them in Chicago. Listen to what they have to say. They used to argue with me on behalf of Jay Cutler and called me to apologize or ran in front of me.
Come on.
Got that? Listen, I do. I'm telling you right now. Zip it. I'm giving you facts. You don't get to speak right now. I
Ooh.
give you because you accused of hyperbole. Why? Because you got some
You don't get to speak right now.
stat sheet and you read some stats. You ain't engaging in hyperbole.
Hey, listen,
Is Jay Cutler not? Hold on. Is Jay Cutler not and juxtaposed to Colin Kaepernick? Is Jay Cutler right now not the epitome of white privilege in the United States of America? What did he do to deserve this job? What did he do?
Listen now.
Is he better? Is he better? What did he do?
Could it be
Yeah.
possible that these locker rooms, they're just in the realm of possibility, could it possibly be under the sun of this universe that there's people in these locker rooms that disagree with the guys that are talking to you? Could it be possible that Dominique Foxworth?
I can't do any more.
I know.
If he talks
There's
again,
no way you can. There's no way you can get through it all.
If he talks again, I'm gonna lose my mind. The epitome of white privilege. Like, why?
Why does it always go to that? It's the guy's just. It has nothing to do with Colin Kaepernick.
No, and did you see? Oh man!
Told you. Told you.
It just pisses me off. Like, why?
It's gonna be a lot of this and a lot of.
It's really frustrating because, dude, like, shut the hell up. Like, he's sitting there talking like, and he made my neck hurt. His head's bobbing so much like an asshole.
Yeah.
Dude, I just want to slap him, make that freaking hair come back on his forehead so he looks like a halfway decent of a human being. Son of a bitch. Why has he got to be like, oh, my Lord, I can't even.
I honestly think that we're tapping into exactly why he's on the show. Why he has his own show, because we're talking about it.
Yeah, it's like.
And that sucks. We're totally tapping into it and being tricked into it. But he's just so. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to give him any credit or anything. It's just that it's. Why can't we just talk about sports? Like, why does it have to be like
He
this?
He can't believe what he's saying. He can't.
No,
There's no way.
no, it's got to be like show meetings, and they talk about the topics, and one guy picks one side, and the other's like, "Hey, dude, sorry, you always get the side you want. This week you're gonna have to argue side B."
Yeah.
And he's got to come up with something crazy, so he overdoes it with the way he talks.
Yeah, and he tries to fit in his big words, and he looks. I guarantee he looks in the dictionary. Maybe I can use this today, dummy.
And he's always friends with everyone.
Right, and he knows everyone. Everyone's like, oh, I went out to dinner with him, and I hugged him, and he is my best friend, and we text all the time, except Kevin Durant, which hates his guts. But we won't get into that.
And isn't he? And isn't he? I mean, he's so polarizing that he either has a guy who loves or hates him. But I feel like a lot more players are starting to dislike him in a sense because he just always has such an over opinion on everything.
Well, yeah,
and it just doesn't sound real.
And then he's threatening LeBron. He'll let.
Yeah, I didn't know too
come
much
out.
about that.
Yeah, that's just a whole other thing. A couple weeks ago when the whole Kyrie thing came out, and he spoke to LeBron's boys, and LeBron's boys said that if Kyrie was in front of him, he would fight him right now, and LeBron said, well, no. Kind of tweeted, like, don't believe everything you hear. And then, if you want to call me a liar, I am quoting, and I will put stuff out there. I have dirt, and I will put it out. Like, what? Stop it. What are we kids now? It's like, seriously? I'm going to air dirt. I have this on you. I'm going to air it out. I'm like, get the hell out of here. As far as the whole Kaepernick thing, like, dude, that was your boy. You know a lot more about him than I do. All I know is, let's put it this way. just break it down real quick as far as Miami goes, okay? Just Miami. Miami not signing him. The coach wanted to sign Cutler because Cutler played with him before. Doesn't it make sense that, okay, a guy knows my system compared to a guy with possible baggage, not even saying he has baggage, not even going there, possible baggage.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want the guy you've worked with before, you know where he is, he knows your system, he just steps right in and can play right away, rather than going through the learning curve and plus possible baggage. I'm not even going there and saying there is baggage, although there is. I'm not going to say it, although I just did. But either way, possible baggage, doesn't know the system, played with you before, can step right in. Which one are you taking there? And the other part, didn't this gentleman wear a T-shirt not too long ago, and I did some research on this today, that featured Malcolm X shaking hands with Fidel Castro, right? He was called out on it, and there's actually an article, I'll link to it in the description below this video. This article was written by a reporter from Miami who's Cuban, whose family got broken up by Castro and all this stuff. And, you know, the article says a lot more than I can say, but Kaepernick is not a dumb dude. He's not stupid. He's a smart guy. He knew who Fidel Castro was. He knew he was on the T-shirt. He played dumb when asked about it and confronted about it, and you can read it in this article. It's a great article. But a lot of that population in Miami is Cuban.
Defective Cuban.
Yeah, these people who
Cubans
would rather swim over or ride in these boats in shark-infested waters, possibly not even get there, to get away from Castro because of the oppression and everything else that Kaepernick is preaching that is going on in this country. Yet he's going to wear a T-shirt with that dude on it, and then you got to see some of the comparisons he makes when he talks to this reporter. It's really sickening, and any Miami fan is not going to embrace him. So you can call it whatever you want. It's business.
A business decision, exactly.
The freaking owners don't want to alienate a part of their fan base. Like, it's common sense. It blows my mind. And then the other thing I'll just say before I let you talk about the whole story, because you know, like I said, a lot more about it, was I tweeted out today on our Twitter handle at C2 Sports with a Z, by the way, if you want to follow us. I tweeted out, just the story about how they're going to hold a rally for Colin Kaepernick. And I said two things. Is this really happening? And two, who in the right mind would ever go to this? And I got a response. And I responded.
Spike Lee.
Nah, yeah, I got a response to it, and it was ridiculous. Did you see the response?
I did not see it.
Oh, man, let me pull that up. It was very interesting. Right away, it was actually almost immediately. So this person said, folks showed up to Trump rallies spewed with hate, but that was okay, right? So I said, remember, I said two things.
Which rallies?
No, even neither here nor there. I said,
Right.
Is this really happening? And who would ever go to this? Folks showed up to Trump rallies spewed with hate, but that was okay, right? My reply to this person who didn't reply back to this was, are you really going to compare the two? And to answer your question, which is irrelevant to my comment, spewing hate is never okay. So that was my answer, and I would love to have a dialogue with you if you'd like to tweet me back. But that's why do we automatically go there? I'm talking about a sports figure. That's what I'm talking about. And for everyone to bring it to this and have a rally for one like, come on now. Come on. He decided he didn't want to play for the 49ers. He might have been cut. They might have cut him, but it was his choice to leave. What was it, $14 million?
14 on the table.
On the table, he bounced. So now he's a little butthurt that he's not going to get more than $14 million because he's not a freaking starting quarterback in the NF freaking out. That's why. So yeah, he left $14 million on the table. What's a backup going to make? The backup might sign for a couple mil, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what he's left with. He's left to face the facts that you're not a starting quarterback in this league, dude. You're not anymore. and this is what we can offer you. You left 14 million. Here's a couple mil. That's what it is. And then even for that couple mil, the owners don't want to do it. And you can speak to why. But right now I'm just baffled by this whole Stephen A. nonsense. I need to sip on my Cherry Coke Zero.
Yeah, I think that my biggest opinion about it is I'm all for free speech, and I don't have a problem with it, but you got to understand the consequences that are come with it. These owners are not going to be held liable to sign a guy based on their own opinion. Like, yeah, guys are not going to have perfect opinions as owners about things. So there's a lot of old school guys in there that probably don't have the greatest outlook on race and all that stuff. There's no denying that. But if you choose not to sign Colin Kaepernick as your backup or potential fill-in for an injured QB, it doesn't mean you're racist. It doesn't mean that you don't understand where he's coming from. You're doing it purely on business. And now, and again, some of these guys, like some of the Seahawks guys that said stuff, Doug Baldwin, Michael Bennett, some of these guys that have spoke up and said, Richard Sherman, I think it was Baldwin specifically that was saying that, you know, this guy's obviously getting blackballed and these owners should be kind of ashamed of themselves. The very first team that Colin Kaepernick visited was the Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
So if he has something to say about all these owners and what they're doing and what they're deciding not to do, why doesn't he ask his own GM? Why didn't you sign Kaepernick?
Right.
He's probably a great fit in that system behind Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is the better version of Colin Kaepernick, so that might be a great guy to back up. He's obviously better than their backup right now, which I think is Trevon Boykin. You know, that kid, he's a pretty good player, but he's just more of an athlete. He's not necessarily like a typical quarterback. I think Kaepernick has more to bring to the table than like a Trevon Boykin. So if you're gonna ask why some of these guys that are getting signed by like the Browns and the Ravens and some of these teams that might be looking at Kaepernick, or like the Cowboys, I think was another team. You gotta look back at yourself and look at the Seahawks. I mean, it's just weird to me that it always has to go to the next thing, and they always skip some of the most obvious things.
Right.
It's always just like, nope, they're blackballing them, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, you might not be 100% wrong, but don't leave all that other shit out just to make your own like biased opinion or point. Right. It's kind of crappy, you know. And like, I think the point of sports commentary that makes it the most fun is that you look at everybody's opinion on it and just see what they have to say, because it's like watching CNN and Fox News. You're probably going to get a little bit of something out of both, and you're probably going to get a lot of nothing from both. And you just kind of formulate your opinion on what you see and what you can take. And and I just think that there's too much hot takes. There's too much clickbait. And this is just crazy. I never in a million years would have thought that this story was going to be like this. No, it's insane to me.
No. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. And, you know, for business, that's the thing that I always preach. And like I talked to you about this, I think, when we were not taping. I always used to get shit for being a Yankees fan. For Yankees buying players, and now it seems like, you know, Red Sox, Dodgers, you know, everyone's doing it. But for a while there, the Yankees did buy players. I've never said that they didn't, but what I always did say was, is it against the rules? Because if it's not against the rules, you can't give him shit. Steinbrenner was doing anything he could to make his product the best, and that's what it is. Because
he paid the tax bill. He paid the tax bill.
Absolutely, they made the most money though. They're the most valuable sports franchise. I think it's them and the Cowboys. And now they're going to team up for some shit now. But anyway, they're the most valuable because they always were willing to spend that money to make their product better. So that was a business decision. You want to spend the money to make your product better. You don't want to spend the money to possibly alienate some of your fan base who, you know, it might. People don't want to hear this. But he pissed a lot of people off. His message might have been great. His message might have been good. I understood a lot of his points. I really, really did. But at the same time, he really did piss a lot of people off by choosing not to, like the way you went about the message was not the best way to do it. Because it pissed off people that I don't think he meant to piss off, but he was... By the time he realized it was too late, and that was his stance, and he was doing it, and people still don't want to talk about that. Like the people, the servicemen and women that felt disrespected for what he did, and that's something to. And wasn't it the Seattle Seahawks? Now that you mention it, that when this Kaepernick thing was starting last year, and he announced he was going to take a knee and everything, didn't Seattle every one of their players stand in unison when the national anthem, when they held hands and everything? Wasn't it them?
100%.
Okay.
Arm in arm. Exactly.
Right. Okay. I was just making sure. That's all. But I think that's all I have to say about this freaking topic right now, because I'm sure we're gonna have to go back in on it and do like a part 2, 3, 4 as long as the shit goes on.
The last thing I wanted to say about it is just that he had a really good gig going on in San Fran. They got rid of the GM that he didn't get along with. The coach then was Chip Kelly, and he did a pretty amazing job of supporting Colin Kaepernick and what he was doing. They never benched him for it. They never did anything to him. They didn't threaten to suspend him. They didn't do anything. They let him do his thing. And as many bad decisions as the Niners have made in the last couple of years with coaching, personnel, and the team, all that stuff, all those decisions, they made a pretty cool move on their part for not crushing him. You know what I mean? For doing what he was doing just because the public was telling them people that they should. They probably got a lot of hate from some of their fans. But that's why it makes me laugh that he left $14 million on the table with a franchise that was supporting him, and now what? It can't be that out of context that Kaepernick turned down a team offer supposedly to keep pushing a race card is what came out today. And so that's starting to kind of like make more sense, and it sucks because we're so far from talking about football and how this kid was like lighting it up 3 years ago and was like the next coming. He wasn't just a running quarterback. He was a guy who really took pride in being a pocket passer and could run if he could or if he had to, and probably could smoke just about any defender on the field. And that's like, it's such a bummer as a Niners fan that to see a kid, who I bought a jersey for my daughter to wear. I bought her a little doll that she loves sleeping with, and she calls him Kaepernick, and she used to kiss her arm when she was 2, and that cute stuff that you see like little kids doing and enjoying their football. And like, now this kid what is he doing? And the last thing was just the inconsistency is what's hardest to swallow not only as a Niners fan, but as a football fan. I didn't understand why he sat on the bench in the preseason game, but he talked to a Green Beret the following week, and the Green Beret said, "Hey, look, I fight for your right to do this, but I think you would show a little more respect if you took a knee." He immediately took a knee from that point forward. I appreciated that, but then he's wearing socks with pigs with cop hats on. That's totally detracting from what he was doing. And then he's donating his entire paycheck for the season to charity. Oh, he's going and talking to police officers about what he can do to contribute to get more training. And like, oh, cool. I'm back on board with that. I like that. I like to hear that. That's the stuff that should be happening. And then it's right down to, posting a picture of an old badge that was a slave trader badge, comparing it to a police badge, a present day police badge. And it's just like, shit, now I'm back off again. It's like, man, come on, man. Like, it almost feels like someone's just feeding him this stuff, and he's just throwing it out there because his name's Colin Kaepernick and he can. And that's why when you were saying he's an intelligent kid, I don't think he's a dumb kid, but I definitely think he's a puppet.
He's easily influenced, I think. POP, man. The POP.
Yeah. But anyways, like you said, let's get off this topic. It's obnoxious.
This one's done. See you guys later.
See you.